Victorian. I'm doing my second video. I wanted to jump right into the second video because next week I will be going back to work, and I know I won't have much time to do videos, getting back to my regular schedule. I just wanted to talk about the time leading up to surgery. I'm basically just glazing over everything because you still have to do everything that's required based off of your insurance and what your doctor prescribes. The things that I had to do. So I started this process, I would say December 2018. I went to the doctor. You had to make notations that you had been trying to lose weight. So I had to start then, saying, hey, look, I want to lose weight. Matter of fact, I think before then, I was already letting them know that I was having issues with my weight loss, and they documented it. They have to document it, after a certain amount of time of visits for you so that you can get the process started and get your referral to go to your surgeon. So the next step was I had to go to a seminar to meet with my surgeon, and then they basically go over the basics of the surgery, and they basically inform you, okay, these are the things that you're going to go through, these are the types of surgeries that we offer, and you can pick and choose based off of what you learn through the seminar. Like, okay, this is I want to do VSG, or I want to do RNY. They also had the balloon, I can't think of the name of it, and they also had they talked about lap band, but a lot of doctors don't do that anymore because of the fact that it has so many complications with it with previous people. So the things I had to do, I had to change my diet, I had to go to nutrition visits, I had to get an EKG, I had to get blood work, I had to do a sleep study. What else did I have to do? Of course, exercise, because you want to lose as much weight as possible on your own. The better that you do, the more successful that you are at losing weight beforehand, the better your chances of getting approval. But of course, you don't want to lose too much, because then they might not qualify you based off of whatever your insurance is. So, do what you need to do from there. And they also put you on birth control, so you have to show that you are on birth control based off of what my doctor told me that I was required. I had to be on birth control throughout the whole process of, trying to get approval. So it took me a whole year. I thought it was going to be quicker, but I had to work. Stuff comes up. Schedule is busy, packed with other things. So I ended up getting pushed back. I think as I got closer to the end of the year, I got really antsy that, because I wanted it to be done in 2019, and I wanted to be able to move on. 2020, I wanted to be like, start my new life and already have this done, but it didn't work out that way. So then, of course, at the end of the year with my insurance, they told me that because it was close to the end of the year, they had to wait for my insurance to renew before they approved it. And by this time, I had already had my paperwork and all that stuff submitted to them, saying that she got everything done, she did all the stuff that she was supposed to do, and they still told me that they wouldn't give me a decision until this year, 2020. They did not be the first time. I was a little disappointed, but my doctor's office, my surgeon's office, they really sat down with them and talked to them and told them, she's done everything she's supposed to do, so there was no reason for them to deny me of coverage for this. So they eventually approved me. It was stressful. It was a little stressful, if I must say. And I was glad that it was finally, approved of, and I could move forward, with the whole process. I got approved for March, obviously. My surgery date was March 2nd. My original surgery date was March 6th. March 6th was the Friday of that week. March 2nd was the Monday of that week. So I was kind of glad to have it pushed up, so I wouldn't have to be in the hospital overnight on a weekend. I try to get all my grocery shopping stuff done during the weekend, so it was better for me to be able to do that stuff myself and get prepared, and also, be ready for the following week. What else? What happened? So the day of surgery, I packed a bag And I ended up not even using the bag, using the stuff that I had packed, because I'll get into the process of, you know, of how everything played out after surgery. But that was the last stuff on my mind. Like, I wasn't even thinking about trying to take no showers and all that other stuff. Like, I took a wash up while I was at the hospital, but I was not thinking about that, trying to be beautiful and nothing like that, or do extra preparations just to leave the hospital. Like, I was just trying to get out of there. So, not saying I had a bad experience, but I just wanted to go home. So, whatever they need to do, check my vitals, whatever, do that. But after that, I wanted to be left alone, because I was just, you know, in a lot of discomfort. But the things that I did pack, they asked me to bring my vitamins that I bought, that I was supposed to be taking after surgery. I was I was told to, you know, have a change of clothes, of course. And I took deodorant, like regular toiletry stuff, gas pills, stool softener, and I bought a dry mouth rinse, oral rinse, or whatever you want to call it, just to kind of like, because I heard that your mouth is dry, you're very dehydrated. The day of surgery, you can't eat nothing. So pretty much starting at midnight before your surgery day, you can't have nothing. Not even you can probably have I can't even remember if it's like a sip of water. I don't know, but I didn't have anything by mouth. So, so once the surgery happens, you're pretty much like, you know, you're hungry, you're thirsty, or whatever, like pretty much that whole day. But you getting all types of sleep medicines and stuff like that. You're in pain. You're, you know, uncomfortable. So you kind of like just want sleep. Like, sleep outweighs hunger. So that's pretty much how it played out for me. So yeah. What else? So the day of surgery, the night before surgery, let me say this, I had to wash with Hibiclens. I mainly focused on my stomach area, but I washed pretty much my whole body with Hibiclens. Everybody, if you follow other people, you know Hibiclens is very drying, dries your skin out really bad, but that's what was required. And then I also washed again the morning before surgery, the morning of surgery. What else? I think when I got to the hospital, it was 5:30 in the morning. My surgery was scheduled for 7:30 a.m. Got there, they had like a group of people that was going in for different surgeries, so they ended up calling like a whole group of us, like 4 or 5 people, back to get prepped or whatever, you know, take your vitals, get hooked up to the machine and all that. They ask you a whole bunch of questions. They have to fill out all this paperwork. You know, what are you allergic to? Like, pretty much stuff that you already have said. They're asking you over and over again. You know, I guess it's just to be sure that they don't do anything that harm you or hurt you or put you in harm's way. So all I remember, the pain lady, the anesthesiologist came in and she told me, we gonna put something, I'm gonna give you something to relax you. So she gave me something in my IV to relax me. They put set up my IVs in my arm and everything, and I was like, okay. So I was still wide awake, but then she said, then we're gonna give you something to breathe, and that's gonna relax you further. And I'm like, okay. So she's saying this on the way. They pushed me out of my room, out of I don't know what they call it, but they pushed me out, going to the OR, and as I'm going to the OR, I was starting to get out of it. So all I remember, I was in the OR on this table. They was transferring me from the bed to the surgery table, and after that, I ain't remember nothing. Like, they told me, can you scoot your hips? That's the last thing I remember. And that was it. Like, I was out. And it was beautiful. I was out. I woke up groggy, just irritated. Like, I was irritated. And you bled out a lot, and you lost a lot of blood or whatever, but everything went well. I didn't even say what type of surgery I got. So I had a robotic vertical sleeve gastrectomy. They did robotic because she said that the healing time is cut in half or cut down, based off of like the doctor actually going in and doing it themselves. So the robot is more precise, I guess. You can look that up, Google it. I don't know the correct words to describe it, but they said that it's much more efficient for them to use a robot than for them to do it, manually. So I woke up groggy, like I said. I was a little nauseous. I did not want to be bothered. I did not want to be bothered. People were trying to talk to me. I did not want to talk. I just wanted to sleep. I wanted people to leave me alone. I remember I felt like I had to go to the bathroom, had to pee real bad, but I couldn't feel it. That was another thing. Like, I guess the pain medicine in my stomach made me not be able to feel that I had to urinate. But for whatever reason, my brain still sent the message, you got to go to the bathroom. So I remember going to the bathroom, and a lady helped me, do all of that, and then I was out after that. Then next thing you know, they rolled me to the room. And when I got to the room, I was in and out. My sisters were there. My sisters were with me going to the hospital that morning so that they could drive their car, drive back home. And they were trying to talk to me. Then the doctor came in. She was trying to talk to me. I did not care what anybody was talking about. I was just like, I just wanted to sleep. Just leave me alone. Then of course they gotta take their vitals. I let them do that, and then after that I just wanted to go back to sleep. For whatever reason, the staff bought water for me, and I wasn't supposed to drink water, and they bought me ice chips. So of course, if you thirsty and you kind of out of it, like I drunk a sip of water, and it made me feel so queasy. So I think I ended up throwing up or something like that, like soon as I drank the water. And then the nurse came in. She said, well, what are you doing with water? You're not supposed to have water. I was like, I don't know, like, they pour me water. I'm thirsty. So I took a sip. So when they finally, she came back, she threw that out, and she was like, I'm gonna give you some ice chips, and that's it. You can have some ice chips, and that's all you can have. I remember them pushing Dilaudid in my IV. I think it's the morphine. And as soon as they pushed that in my IV, I was gagging. As soon as she pushed it in, like, I guess I must be that sensitive to it. And I pretty much had the strength enough to say, I don't want no more of that. Like, I was like, look, I don't know if I gave her a look. I don't know what I said, but I'm like, look, don't give me no more of that. Do whatever you gotta do. Give me something else. I don't want none of that, because that really made it worse. And I was already feeling gas pains. Like, I felt like I was gassy from my stomach to my shoulders to everywhere. It was just very uncomfortable. I wouldn't say I was in pain, but I would say I was uncomfortable. I had the Q pain. I don't know. I forgot the name of it. But I had the little ball with the pain wires in my stomach. So that was enough to keep me from feeling the incisions. I didn't feel them at all. Like I said, I couldn't even feel if I had to, urinate. So that worked perfectly. But the gas pain was a separate thing altogether. I was very uncomfortable with that, and I remember constantly asking for Gas X and just oxycodone so I can sleep. And I think I slept the rest of the day. My sisters kept telling me they was leaving. I wasn't present enough to understand what they were talking about. I think I said like I was like, okay, like, all right, and then I went back to sleep. So I was in and out. I slept, and I think the next time I woke up, it was like the middle of the night or early morning, and they came and checked on my vitals. And every time they check on my vitals, I'm like, I'm going back to sleep. what else happened after that? They kept helping me to get to the bathroom by myself. Um, so they pretty much was like, they were very I had to cut it, so just to edit some stuff out. But they were very impressed that I was up moving around by myself quite a bit. I was doing pretty well as far as moving around, and I remember like the next morning they bought the soup, some broth, some Jello, and some Powerade, diet Powerade or sugar free, and I think it was the nurse or nutritionist came in and bought the medicine cups. So they filled up their medicine cups. They lined them up like shot glasses. Like I was saying, they lined up the medicine cups like shot glasses, and I was given the task of having a drink. I think it was, I can't remember, like a full shot glass within 15 minutes or something like that. I can't remember, but once you get to that process, they'll tell you, what you have to do, how much you have to drink within a certain amount of time. What else? So I got up, I washed up before I ate, washed up, and I wanted to walk around because, like I said, the gas pain was pretty uncomfortable. It was not like painful. I wasn't like hurting real bad, but I was uncomfortable. So the more that I could move around and try to, alleviate that discomfort, I was willing to do that. What else? I was nauseous a little bit, but kind of like, I think that following day, I was, much better. I was doing much better than I was the day before. What else? And I didn't get a leak test. I guess they must have did one while I was in surgery or while I was under, because they didn't, ask for it. I didn't ask about it either. So I assumed like, okay, everything must be good. So I didn't get a leak test, and I just remember being hot and uncomfortable being at the hospital. Just wanted to go home. I think that second day I was just ready to go home, and I was loving that oxycodone because that knocked me out for at least a few hours. The ride home was kind of rough. Like every bump, I felt every bump, and I remember having like my hoodie over my face. Like I just didn't want to see. I didn't want to see no lights. I didn't want to be bothered. My mother was driving. She stopped and got me some stuff from the drugstore, and she was just trying to make sure that I was okay. And matter of fact, she ended up getting some Pedialyte so that I can get my fluids in as much as possible. Once I got home, I just pretty much was ready to get to bed. I tried to get as comfortable. My sisters helped me out. Try to get me as comfortable as I possibly could get. I'm not a side sleeper. I'm a stomach sleeper. So that was kind of difficult, sleeping that way. It only lasted about a week or so, a week and a half. And then I was back on my stomach. Like one day I just woke up, I was on my stomach. And I was shocked. But anytime before then, it was uncomfortable sleeping on my stomach. So I just basically slept and took my pain medicine. I think the next day I started my vitamins. My vitamins were biotin, B12, of course the multivitamin, the calcium chews, vitamin D, it had that vitamin D in it, iron, and they also gave me some anti-gallstone medicine and antacid. I don't know the name of it, so that's pretty much that's what the purpose of the medicine was: anti-gallstone and acid. And just pretty much had to stay on the liquid diet for 2 weeks. I got tired of it. Like I was really bored with liquids, but I knew that if I had pushed myself to eat certain things that I wasn't ready to eat, my stomach wasn't ready or prepared for at that time, I knew I was gonna have a hard time. So I was like, nope, I have to stay on, even though I wanted, better food or something with some flavor, because I was just, and luckily also with bone broth, I would get the pre-made bone broth or the packaged, and I would put bouillon in it just to kind of give some flavor. So that was one thing. You can't just, I've seen people do bouillon by itself, but I don't think it has any like a nutritional value with it. So unless you have bouillon that has like protein and stuff in it, I would add that to bone broth that has protein in it. Of course, Premier Protein shakes or whatever shakes that you like to drink. I had to get that. I had to get I think it was like, I had to get at least 40 40 grams of protein a day. It was very hard to eat that first that first week, or even like that first week. It was kind of hard to like drink and get stuff down, but you still have to like kind of push yourself to get the protein in. And water was a struggle. Before this, I could guzzle water. I could have a whole gallon of water. I love water, but now it's like it takes me a while to get it down. And one incident that I had before I go to my last thing that I'm gonna talk about, my incision opened in the hospital, and I was so out of it, and I was just tired. I had to get up. I remember having to say, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom," so I needed some help to, get in there. And as soon as I got up, like one of the aides was like, "Oh my gosh, you have blood," and I looked down. I'm like, "What?" It was blood all on the side of my nightgown or the hospital gown, blood all on the bed. And they pretty much was saying that I guess one of the incisions, the fluid had got backed up. So I guess because I was laying on that side, on my left side, that it, somehow my body pushed it out. I don't know, pressure pushed it out. So they came in and had somebody come and patch me up. So I was good after that. Like I said, I didn't feel any pain. So I was fine with that. And after that, I didn't have any other issues with it. I was kind of worried about it going home. That I was hoping that, none of the incisions would open up when I got home. And nothing happened. I did have some leakage a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. I think I ended up changing my bandages, or certain places of my bandage, like on certain incisions, maybe twice since I came home. And then by that Friday, I was able to take the pain wires out and actually take a shower, wash the whole area. And I think I had to bandage it back up, but I pretty much had like skin glue to keep my incisions closed, so it wasn't that bad. So the next thing, I was the next day I had, the next week, that I think it was that second week or third week, I was able to do pureed foods, and I had my mouth set for applesauce. I love applesauce. I never had any problems with applesauce, and I was really looking forward to applesauce. And I got the unsweetened kind, so it wouldn't be hard on my stomach. I think I made it like halfway through, and I started, of course, getting full, and all of a sudden I got hot, and I started sweating, and my hands were shaking, and I'm not gonna say like specifically what happened, but it was bad. And luckily I was able to calm myself down and kind of like get the taste of, like, I wanted to throw up, and that taste that comes in your mouth. I was able to kind of like calm that down. I just had to breathe. I took my nausea medicine, and I was like, let me just go lay down. And it took, I think it went on for like 20 minutes that I was feeling that way. I was feeling sick as a dog. And I have yet to touch another container of applesauce to this day. I'm sure I'll probably be okay, but I'm just afraid of that happening again. That was bad. So, it's just certain things, like when you are starting to, try new things all over again, because your stomach is so new and it's still healing. It's kind of hard to know what's going, make you feel sick. Is it okay now, or how am I going to react to it? So that was pretty much the last thing I wanted to talk about. and then I'll leave some stuff for later to come back on here and make another video about. But yes, like and subscribe, please. And thank you for checking out my video. Hopefully this is not going to be a long video, but it looks like it is. So until next time, thank you for watching.